Hey guys, I'm here. I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we're getting ready to start the show, but I like to get you guys in a little early. Hey guys, I'm here. I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we're getting ready to start the show, but I like to get you guys in a little early. Hey guys, I'm here. I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we're getting ready to start the show, but I like to get you guys in. The hair doctor is here. Hi, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and today from p.m. Central Standard Time to 6 p.m. Standard Time, I'm going to be your personal hair doctor. That's right. We're going to be here and we're going to talk about something I think that you all are going to love, because it doesn't matter what hair you have, but whether you have natural hair, relaxed hair, permanent waved hair, or I think you'll like this topic today. You don't have the list. Look, Nisi's over there guilty. Man, she's just been, we're going to have to write a letter about Nisi. I don't think she's been on it today. I think she's become Gigi or a Gam Gam or a Granny. Ugh, I'm so jealous. She has just not been on it. Okay, you got to bring the babies, yes. Okay, so because they have hair too, we want to see the babies. All right, so today, last week, was exciting, as always. We were talking about transitioning. Transitioning from relaxed hair to natural hair without doing that big chop. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we get into the first of the year. There are things that I'm going to do that I'm excited about. I've been talking about transitioning the big relax. And possibly helping you guys with that transition. I'm doing a little open focus group where I'm asking around to see what's going to be the most popular. So you're welcome to email me what's most needed. I'm getting you guys to help me out with this, whether we should focus on the big relax or transitioning from natural relaxed hair to natural hair, me participating, or whether we should focus on get the length. So you can email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com, so I can just kind of listen or read your opinion about which one you think is most needed. I think I pretty much made up my mind what I'm going to do, but I just wanted to kind of have you guys weigh in on that. So today, we're going to talk about hair color. As I said, whether or not you have relaxed hair, natural hair, permanent waved hair, or very little hair. Sometimes hair color is important to you. So we're going to talk about the different types of color and give you a little bit of history on hair color. My phone lines will be open today at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342. And so I think we have a question already. It said, have you heard of red kitchen sink hair products? So what I'm going to do with that, because terminology varies, okay, we're going to put that in, and I'm going to see what's said out there in cyberspace on the internet about that, and then we're going to go back and then look at that as well. Red kitchen sink hair products. Before we get into hair color, since you were so wonderful to ask that question, let's see what they're saying out there about red kitchen sink hair products. Red kitchen. Okay, so we have, I think that's a company that's doing something with hair products, and I think it's pretty catchy, but let's see what they're saying. Suffering from a pattern ball products. So, interesting note. Honest, I have not heard of this, but I will do some research just for you. It seems to be some type of herbal system that's out there. But let me just tell you guys, there are many products out there. And I just want us to continue to keep things really simple. Look at what we need in a shampoo. We basically need our shampoo to be a clarifier. That's right. We need it to clarify our hair. We need to make sure, in other words, that we get a deep clean, but we need to make sure that we are not just hair, we're cleaning it. So we want to look at the pH of the hair. Let's see, I want to make sure. See, we got offline. I think okay, I think I'll get it back in just a second. I want to make sure that we're looking at the pH of the hair and make sure that we're staying within the 4.5 to 5.5, which is the pH of the hair and scalp. And you just want a nice clean shampoo. You want something that's going to clean the hair, remove all the pollutants, which are environmental, cosmetic, and scalp pollutants. Just clean it to a nice pH. And then from there, you're going to go into your conditioners, which you need proteins and moisture. You want to strengthen and hydrate the hair. So those things are crucial. So as long as you're doing those two things, which are your basic care, I don't know how Nisi thinks I can take a picture and smile and talk to you guys. She can't take a picture of me before the show. She won't do it after. She wants to do it right when I'm talking. Is that called a candid shot? I think that's what. Yeah. Oh, got it. She wants some candid shots, guys. Okay. All right. Yay to Nisi. All right. So back to the show. So, those are some basic things you got to have, guys. You've got to have clean hair. You've got to have hydrated hair. And you want to have strong hair. If you have those things, then you can manipulate this dead keratinized cell, which is what hair is. You can manipulate it and make it look the way you want it to look. So that's your basic. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but I will definitely do that. Thank you so much for bringing that to me, because I want to know what's out there and I want to know what's important to you. So thank you again for bringing that out. And you wanted to know, is Silk Press a cream or a serum? Silk Press is really more of a technique. And so Silk Press is going to give you that really, it's almost like replacing a hard press so that your press holds and that your hair is straighter. So most of the times it's, you can use various things, like you can use serums, you can use other things that which are too dense, and I want you to stay away from those, because the serums that you use can be problematic and they can be hard to rinse from the hair. They're not clean. Creams tend to be okay, but it just depends on what else is in them. Let's go to our phone lines. Hi, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? Hi. I am doing well. How are you? Okay, we want to talk about hair color. Thank you for keeping me on topic. You wanted to know the difference between that white minx and some regular hair color. Now, white minx is in the temporary, and it's a rinse out. It's a watercolor. So a rinse in, rinse out each week. That's something that you can put over to help your hair to just kind of, if you have white hair, to keep it from looking all yellow and dull. So it can give you can do blue tones, you can do silver tones, or you can just make it really white, like a white mink coat. So that's really what that is. Okay, you there? Yeah, I'm gonna have to put she hung up. Okay, great. Okay, I'm hoping that I don't have to put my big red headset, which Mark so wonderfully has for me every week. Thank you, Mark. But I'm trying not to mess up the fro. So I've got these little things. I'm just gonna have to remember to bring better earbuds. Okay, all right, so let's get to topic. Thank you so much, caller, for keeping me on topic. So hold on with your questions on chat. Let's get into our topic today. So let's look at a little bit of a history with hair color. You know, hair color has been around for many, many years. I mean, think about it. Back in ancient times, women have always found a way to color their hair. And that's mainly to keep with the keep up keep the gray cover, the white hair. That is that absence of color pigment. As we get older, we find that sometimes we can get more and more of that. So we've used different things. Some of the really things back in the ancient times we've had. Oh, we've got some calls. Okay, I guess we should answer that phone. Okay, let's go back to our phone line. Thanks, Mark, for reminding me. Okay, so hi, caller, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? And I remember you. You asked that question before. You see, you lay down at night, you get up in the morning, and you're combing your hair, and it's just stuck and it's pulling. So this is you got to do better with dressing your hair for bed. I mean, some men don't want to tie their hair down, but if you have a lot of hair, if your hair is really thick and really dry, just make sure you're moisturizing your hair before you go to bed. And those little I call them something else, but they're called do-rags. Get you one of those nylon ones and just tie your hair down after moisturizing, and you won't have that problem. Well, you see, it doesn't have to be long. I said long or dry and thick. So it just depends on your hair. Okay, so yeah, just the mere fact, because when it's thick and it could be dense, so it means the hairs per square inch could be great in numbers, and those hairs are kind of crossing over on top of each other, and they're webbing and they're tangling. So with that, the moisturizer will keep them separate, and then if you tie it down, smooth it back, then you should be okay with that. Yeah, I think you should use like a white cream moisture. Make sure it's light enough. But it makes your hair feel soft when you put it on. And then as long as your hair softens up and it seems to kind of relax for you, then you're going to be okay with by the morning. I recommend if your hair is really, really dry. Okay, if it's really dry and it's hard to manage and it kind of sticks together and all that, I would recommend a product that I sell called Hydration. Let me give you a telephone number, and you can call and they can like send it to your home or office, or you can pick it up. Let me give you this number and call tomorrow, okay? Okay, it's ready. The number is 901-380-4445. Now remember, it's called Hydration. Hydration? Yes, sir. We have it at our clinic. Yes. Well, you're gonna love it. And tell them I said give you a free head wrap, one of those little, because I have the special kind of I have for my patients. So I want you to have one free. Ask for Nicole and tell her that I said to give you one, because this is the second time you've called about this problem, and I want to make sure we get this corrected for you. Okay? It hasn't worked. We haven't fixed it yet, right? Well, Nicole will give you all that information so we can get back on topic. But we're on Sycamore View, but she'll help you to get there, okay? Thank you. Let me know how it works out, okay? All right, bye. Yeah, because that's the second time he's called, and that's a challenge now for me. We got to fix that. Okay, so before in ancient times, we used like henna, berries, gold dust. I mean, there were so many things that were used. Anything that could stain And a lot of the herbs that were out there were used. Anything that could stain, because white hair is like a canvas. It's like a white canvas, and so you can put anything on it, and it can change the color. And it's important. A lot of people try and stay with those things from the earlier times. It's important to use natural color if it's at all possible, but keep in mind, natural color is going to have more of an acidic pH, and it's protein as well, since it's plant. So you got to be careful to hydrate when you're using your natural colors. But those were so important. And in the early to mid 1900s, hair color was viewed as a novelty, something that even just celebrities wore, and they called them loose women used. Now it's necessary for women, the average woman, to have color. In the 1940s, Clairol, everybody had their Clairol, right? Clairol started an aggressive campaign to really push hair color as a way to cover gray hair, for the women to stay youthful and healthy looking. They always had these boxes and Miss Clairol and that kind of thing. So they was really, really, really popular at one time. And then by 1956, Clairol unveiled Miss Clairol, which was the first home color kit that allowed consumers to really bleach their hair. They had a dye, one-step dye, and hair coloring became available to maybe the average woman. So I would say right in the 50s is when it really became available to the average woman, and it became highly utilized service in homes and even salons. So, when I look at our statistics, by the 1950s, only about 7% of U.S. women colored their hair. By the 1970s, the number had jumped and had climbed and jumped to about 40%. That's pretty huge. Experts say that about 80% of women in the U.S., and the numbers are growing, that will wear some sort of hair color at one point in time. So this is a pretty big deal. So we want to just kind of go through hair color and how important. This just kind of tells you, I want to set it up for how important hair color is for women. And I think you know that personally if you wear it. But to those of you who are out there who are thinking about it, then you just want to understand the different categories of color. And color basically comes in categories. You have a category that could be temporary, then you have a category that's semi-permanent, and then you have permanent. And within those categories, we have different types of colors you can use. And just like in temporary, and the caller earlier was asking about hair color and the white mix, those are watercolors. And temporary, you can put colors on that you can rinse on, that can put on gray or white hair. And then, as we know, gray hair is just the illusion because of the dark and the white. It just gives it a gray hue, but it's basically white hair with darker hair. So you can color that, and even without coloring the rest of your hair with your temporary colors. That's the takeaway with temporary colors. If you put a temporary color on your hair, and it has a little bit of watercolor in it, that means that it'll rinse in and rinse out between shampoos, it will color your white hair without coloring the rest of your hair. So that's the positive side of that, but it is temporary. Once you shampoo your hair, then it's going to rinse back out. But it's it gives the least amount, because it sits on top of the cuticle. It gets the least amount of contact with the hair. It changes the hair very little. It changes the moisture level very little, but it can be really strong impact on white hair because it really gives you that color. And some people use fun colors during the holidays or certain special holidays like Halloween. They'll put those temporary colors on. Be careful, they can be messy. And sometimes you have to use certain removers with some of those colors, especially in the theater colors, then it could dehydrate your hair. So be really careful with that. Then you have semi-permanent colors. Now, semi-permanent colors come in two different categories. You have, or types. You have the semi-permanent stain, and then you have the semi-permanent deposit. Now, what does that mean? The semi-permanent stain is just going to basically stain on top of the hair strand on top of the cuticle. But the thing that the messiness of that is it will bleed, like it'll run, it'll get on your under your fingernails, it'll get if you touch your scalp, it will get on, stain your hairline. So those are semi-permanent stains, and you want to be really careful with those. Under the semi-permanent stain, then those are ones that I would say to really, if you're going to use a semi-permanent color, I wouldn't use a stain. I would use more of a vegetable rinse. If you're wanting something that's going to not deposit, but just really give you something that's more natural. So the vegetable rinses, we order ours from the Middle East because it get a pure color, but then you have pure natural color, but some of the hennas are good, but you want the pure ones. But keep in mind, any plant product that you use, the vegetable rinses, you want to make sure you hydrate your hair with deep conditioning, protein and moisture prior to your color, and then rinse that same deep conditioning through after you rinse your color off. So that's the only thing, because your moisture levels will drop a little bit with the plant. Then you want your semi-permanent deposit. It's basically going to deposit into the cuticle and actually become a part of the cuticle. So you have this prompter, which is a 10 volume developer peroxide mixed with a little bit of water, and so it basically opens the cuticle just enough just to make this color become a part of the cuticle, so it lasts longer. And it doesn't really affect the moisture level as much because the molecular weight, the molecules that make up this formula are pretty small. So it's used a lot they call them demi colors in salons these days. So those are pretty cool. I think that you really need to have those in the salon. I mean, you can use them over the counter, but just be really careful to make sure you're deep conditioning at least once a week if you're going to use those. Our phone lines are open now, and we're talking about hair color. We're at 901-535-9342 if you'd like to join in the conversation. We're going to take a look and see if we've got some folks chatting. Oh goodness, y'all are chatting away. I have such a problem controlling my gray on the front hairline. Color, I just can't say edges, guys. So, all right, bear with me if I change your words around. Color lasts maximum 2 weeks. Okay, here's the deal. And I tell all my patients this now. If you have a problem with keeping your hairline colored, keep in mind your hair is going to grow and is growing millimeters every day. So in 2 to 4 weeks, you're going to have that nice little halo. It depends on your hair and how fast your hair is growing. So no worries. Use a brush on. Use your semi-permanent deposit and then use a brush on. You want your hair to grow. No white hair growth, no hair growth, period. Okay? We just want to grow our hair. Okay? So just use a brush on. And your brush on. I got them. Yeah, they're right there. Okay, cool. This is making sure I get my chats in. And says, I began graying in my 20s like my mom and dad. Most colors make my scalp irritated. Okay. Anything that makes your scalp irritated, we have to look at the kinds of irritations that you have. Are you having a red rash? A red little fine bumps with rash, that could be contact dermatitis. That means that you can't use that color. But if it's irritating, like you're itching or you're dry, then you can offset that. One, you have to make sure that you are keeping your scalp clarified and your hair and scalp healthy, because usually if you're getting irritated by anything you're using, your epidermis is thin and worn and your receptors are just basically responding that are close inside that dermis. So you just need to stop your color, go on a scalp regimen, and I can help you with that. And that's just cleaning and with a pH of 4.5 to 5.5 clarifier, making sure you use hydrating products, like you can use pure aloe vera juice on your scalp after you finish, before you put your conditioners on, and let that sit with your conditioner on, and things that will create that environment so your skin will heal and help with the renewing. Okay, so we can go with that, and you just send me an email, lisa@lisaakbari.com, and that's LISA@LISAAKBARI.com. And what I'll do is I'll send you a video response in more detail. Be very detailed with your questions. Okay, henna is so messy and smelly. Henna does not have to be messy and smelly. Henna is very earthy smelling, if there's such a word. It smells like dirt. But you know what? You can do other things. You can put a couple of drops of lavender in it, and that helps with the smell. Any of those essentials, your favorites, you can put that in it and it'll keep it from smelling. Messy only because you are mixing it probably in a bowl. You want to take your henna packet, make sure you're opening it, put it inside the applicator bottle, and then dump it while you're inside the applicator bottle. Put your water in and quickly shake and leave it. Don't mix it in a bowl. That'll help with that. Okay, the next question is, why is it that some people who color their hair end up with the scalp the same as the color? That's because of the stain. So you're using a semi-permanent stain, and we want to stay away from that because we want to use only colors that are going to deposit into the hair and not stain the scalp. So that's the reason why you're having that problem. It's bleeding. It also bleeds like you sweat and work out. It's running everywhere. So good. We were able to get those questions in. If you like to participate and you just want to chat with me or talk to me, you can chat. Of course, my chat line is blowing up and I love it, love it, love it. Or you can call me at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-9342 or WDIA. I'm here with WDIA in the WDIA studios and iHeartRadio, and my online YouTubers. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in numbers today. This is so cool. Let's see if we can go to our phone lines. Hi, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? Hello? Okay, let's see. We're going to have to hold on, caller. I'm going to have to get this other headset, so you guys get ready for my fro to be messed up. Oh,
put the headset behind your head.
I know, Niecy. I'm going to put it behind my head. Niecy's my boss. I think everybody's probably figured that out. She's over here showing me how to put my on. Okay, I'm on. See, but my fro is not okay. Well, I'm gonna pull it up.
Wow.
So do y'all think that's cute? That's cute.
Yeah,
Oh, I think we lost our caller. Caller, if we lost you, and I'm sorry about that, so call me back. But you know, I can hear a lot better. But I wanted my fro to kind of hang down today. But this is good. This is good. You can show off my earrings. Okay, all right. So let's go back to our topic. And we were talking about color. And if you have some questions, you guys can go on and chat away again. We had, I think we went right through those beautifully. We've got about 30 more minutes for me to be your personal hair doctor. But let's go through here because we've got some online questions. We've got some, in other words, email questions. I want to get to those as well. But we want to talk about highlights and blonde hair and how to achieve that and color and relaxer. Some folks are doing that, and natural. Folks who think they have natural hair after they've colored their hair. It's no longer natural, sisters. Once you color it, you can't call it natural. You can call it kinky, but you can't call it natural because at that point it is colored. So let's go back. We were talking about our semi-permanent color, the deposit. The deposit is going to deposit, like I said, into that cuticle, and it's going to give you a more lasting power. But in the molecules that make up those demi colors, they're pretty cool, and they're not as traumatic on the hair shaft. So that allows you to also condition around it. You can manipulate your hair. So I'm a fan, I would have to say that, and of these demi semi-permanent colors because they get the job done. Now, I absolutely love, which is what I use, the vegetable colors. But the semi-permanent for ladies who really are trying to do some cool, exciting things with their hair, I think that, and want more lasting power without the damage, I think the semi-permanent deposits are great. We're going to talk about permanent colors as well. Now, permanent colors, when we think about permanent colors, first, ladies who are permanently coloring their white hair, it's such an unnecessary thing to do. And because permanent color, basically what it's going to do, it's either going to it's more traumatic. Let me just start with that. It's either going to go into the cuticle, past the cuticle, into the cortical fibers. And the cortical fibers, the cortex, is where your strength bonds are found. It's where your color pigments are found. It's where your structural changes are made. If you have a relaxer or if you overheat your hair, all of that can happen in the cortex. Well, when you permanently color your hair, you're either going to remove dark pigments from the hair, or you're going to deposit remove the dark pigments so the hair gets lighter, or you're going to deposit dark pigments in so light hair gets darker. So it's a reaction on the hair. So it's kind of like what happens with a chemical relaxer. A chemical relaxer goes in and it structurally changes the hair. A wave goes in, changes the hair, structurally waves the hair, actually hair permanently. So these things are really important, speaking of permanent color. So with that being said, I need to color. So why do we do permanent colors? We're going to do permanent colors because we want to make a dramatic change in our hair they're not able to make when we have a semi-permanent or a temporary color. What are some of the examples? And let's go to some of these examples. One of the things we like to do is highlights. Highlights, and we want to talk about highlights and lowlights and what they are. First, highlights is where if you have dark hair, it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you have dark hair, you want to make that certain areas highlight, stand out. You want them lighter. Okay, and lowlights is if you have light hair, you want to make some areas darker, so it appears that you have highlights in reverse. So they're wonderful, pretty cool techniques. I also recommend those because when you do those, generally a colorist, we want to go to a colorist, someone who specializes in this. It's not something you should try and do at home. A licensed professional, look at her portfolio and see what she's got in there, or he, and see their work. And then you want to determine what you want, how you're feeling. And I would go online and look at some pictures and images, and I would really go online and just find some different areas that, or pictures, images that I like. Oh, I love the way this one looks. And then I would take it to my colorist and let them put together a plan, not a plan of just coloring your hair, but a plan of her application, the color, and then the maintenance, so you can prevent damage, because that's going to be crucial as well, because so many people have this hair color, and they end up damaging their hair, and we don't want that. Okay, all right, so when you highlight, you're basically going to go in, and you have a couple of options with highlight, because you can highlight white hair. You're just going to deposit some of this. You don't do it through a permanent color. You highlight white hair with depositing some darker colors. So if it's white, you may deposit some browns or some blondes, because white is the lightest of light. You don't go any lighter than that. That's a total absence of color pigment. So all you're going to do is deposit, and you can do that through a semi-permanent color. So you don't have to even use something that's a full chemical color. So that's a pretty cool thing about highlighting white hair. But moving on, highlighting dark hair, you would have to use a chemical, and that needs to be done, like I said, with a professional. Low lighting is the same thing. You would have to use a professional as well. So the main thing is you've got to have the deep conditioning afterwards, because it does lower the moisture levels, and it does weaken the structure of your strand. So most people, they do these highlights, and then they get these beautiful blowout and flat iron styles, and they're gorgeous with all this body, and then they break. I remember with a patient that I had really close to me, that I said to her, I said, okay, now we can do these highlights, but if you do not follow your maintenance and prevention of damage regimen, then you're going, everywhere you have color, it's going to break off. And of course, she didn't do what she was told, and everywhere she had color, it broke off. So keep in mind that, ladies who are wanting the highlights, they're wonderful, but that can happen. Now, we're going to talk about blonde hair, because we got to think about the color wheel when we look at blonde hair. Blonde hair is right under white hair. Blonde hair is where you move, and let's go to the color wheel. You got black hair, then you have dark brown, and then you have the reds, and then you have the in the reds, and then you go into the blondes, and then you go into white. And that's just kind of a quick just enough for you guys. And this is not what I would go in more depth for professionals, but this is basically what happens. But there are many shades of the black, there's many shades of brown, many shades of red, and many shades of blonde. Let me just give you an example. One of the most popular in this city and within women, especially black women, is a what is it, sherry? No, it's not sparkling sherry. It's I can't think of it, but anyway, strawberry blonde is a combination of reds and golds. So then you have that reddish blonde look. So they will connect. You have to be really careful. And so you have to be very specific, very intentional in the colors. That's why you want a colorist, because they can help you with deciding so that you don't have red hair when you really want a gold hair. Hi, we're going to go back to our phone lines. Hi, welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? My whole name. I said my whole name, Lisa Akbari. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. If you do permanent color, you're no longer natural. Thank you for helping me clarify that. You can put a temporary color, or you can put a vegetable rinse, and then you're still natural. Or a vegetable rinse. And the vegetable rinse is like if you have white hair and you have you want to cover those little white hairs, then you would use, ma'am, go ahead. Okay. So a little gray strands, and you want to cover those gray strands? Okay, you'd use a vegetable rinse if you want to stay in a natural state. And you can, ma'am? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, ma'am. You can go and get henna. Henna is a vegetable rinse. There's some others that are called vegetable rinses, and you want the purest ones ever. You want the ones that are just basically dehydrated plant. You can go to some of the stores like the Whole Foods. That's, yes. Okay, that'll be a good place to start. Some of the other, I'm sure a lot of the stores, the beauty supplies, they tend to have the ones that have some additives in it. So you want to go to your natural stores that will give you pure plant product. Yeah, some of those will have some additives in it, like the Hennalucent. It's a great product to cover, but sometimes we have a problem with. Some have complained about the conditioning because it's such a dense product. It tends to keep you from being able to get your deep conditioning in as you like. Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you so much. All right, love you too. All right. All right, you're welcome. Bye. She was so sweet. She said, I love you. I'm like, I love you back. Hi there. Welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? Hey. This is who? You are. Oh, girl, get your numbers. Get your, what is that there? Your stations. We're at WDIA, but are you looking for Stan, or who are you looking for? Mark, or are you looking for the hair doctor? You're a little early. Marco comes on in about a little under 30 minutes. He comes on, actually, Mark comes on at 6. Okay. Thank you. Okay, dear. No, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. They're looking for you, Mark. Mark comes on. Okay, everybody. Mark comes on at 6, okay? It's time for the hair doctor. I always, and I really want to sit in on Mark's show because it's so wonderful. Tell the Lord thank you. Okay. All right. So let's go. There we go. We're gonna let her go. She's kind of gonna call you back, Mark, at 6. Okay. So we're talking about hair color. Having a great show. Thank you guys for your calls. We will get out of the way soon and let Mark and his folks come on. See. Niece, I'm looking at my profile and the back of my head is completely flat.
Sees the back of your head.
Well, I was turning to the side and people could see it, but okay. Okay, let's go back to our show. Well, it's nobody's fault but mine because I should bring some earbuds. Our phone lines are open at 901-535-9342. That's 901-535-5342. We've got some internet questions too we want to get to, but first, before we do that, I want to talk about hair color and relaxers because that's a pretty big deal. Because my earth mamas, what I call my natural beauties, we kind of give our relaxed folks a hard time, but we don't want to do that. Those are our sisters who are out there deciding that they want to, they want to hear about all this as well. They want to know what's going on, and I'm their hair doctor. So when you wear relaxed hair, this is the best way to do it. And at first, you want to make sure that you've got these spaced properly. And also, you got to look at how those chemicals are layered on your hair. Now, let me clarify all that. If you're going to wear relaxer and permanent hair color, you want to make sure that you look at the chemical and decide. First, we got to decide which one is the strongest. The one that's the strongest is the one that has to go on first, and then you layer the other one behind it. And let me explain. The relaxer is number one, the strongest, because the relaxer not only will change the shape of the hair, it does some structural changes that affect the strength bonds of your hair. So it pretty much depletes some of the moisture, and your protein levels are shaken there. So your hair becomes weak and dry if you don't have your hair properly prepped to get this relaxer properly applied, properly removed, and properly maintained. So relaxer is by far the strongest because of the structural changes that occurred permanently to that particular hair. So you have to put that one on first and then deep conditioning the hair and make sure that you have a professional, one who specializes in relaxer and color treated hair. All right, so that's first. And then after that, then you have to wait at least 48 hours to 7 days before you can put your permanent color on. And then again, there's pre-treating the hair. There's the application, then there's deep conditioning and balancing the protein moisture levels afterwards. And then there's maintenance that you follow. And, initially we don't do all those things, but later on down the road, we wonder why we think all of a sudden our hair comes out or falls out or breaks. Well, a lot of that is because you didn't follow this regimen to protect and preserve your hair while the application was done. You didn't prepare for it before it was done. And then afterwards, you didn't maintain that hair by following a good hair care regimen. So you want to relax, and then you color. Now let's talk about relaxers. You should never have your hair relax sooner than every 10 to 12 weeks. So if you're going to relax your hair 10 to 12 weeks, in which you should never do it any sooner, because the average strand is only going to grow about 1/2 inch on an adult female, about 1/2 inch on male every 4 to 8 weeks. So we want to say somewhere around that 6 to 8 weeks. Once we get over 30s, we're starting to slow it down a little bit, and we're moving into that kind of 8 weeks. So you need at least a solid line of demarcation so that your stylist can relax only new growth and not overlap. So that's why you want to wait closer to that 12 weeks. And so the way you offset that, I know what you're thinking, I can't handle my hair breaks when I have new growth. Well, you can offset that by following two categories of hairstyles. When you have new growth, you have curly styles. When you have relaxed hair, you wear a fresh relaxer week 1 through 5. You have straight styles. So you can change your style, and not, I don't mean flat ironing after 5 weeks. I mean going to something that matches your new growth, and then hydrating your new growth every single day using something like a hydration moisturizer. You can find it on my website. And then your color, you have to make sure that you're only coloring every other relaxer. So if you're going to relax your hair, say in September, so you've got to wait 8 to 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks. So if you're going to get it 3 months later, so you got September, October, November. So then at that point, you can color your hair. Then you're ready to color your hair, but you don't color your hair again so you're coloring your hair 2, maybe 3 times a year. Now, some will say, well, I'm covering up white hair. That's when you bring in your semi-permanent colors or your brush-on colors. You've got to just do it the right way, ladies, because over a period of time, it causes problem even with alopecia, because this is a wearing down of the scalp and hair. So this is why you do not see it initially, but it will over a period of time cause problems with your hair. Now, how do we take care of hair, whether we're bleaching it blonde? And I think we talked about, did we go into details about bleaching blonde? That's the whitest of white. And because I look like I may have skipped that a little bit, or we got a call, but let's go back to that one. We're going to bleach blonde the hair, and then we're going to talk about how to take care of it. And then we're going to try to get to some of these questions that we have from online questions. And we want to do some celebrity hair, because I've been forgetting my celebrity hair stuff. So we want to do that as well. Oh yeah, let's get back. Okay, so if you bleach blonding, basically you're removing as much of the color pigments as possible, because blonde is right below white. And we did talk about that. Okay, so color, how do you take care of it? It's basically the same. But the thing is, when you have relaxed and color treated hair, or if you have natural hair and you have a permanent color in your hair, then you're basically going to shampoo, deep condition twice a week, where you may be deep conditioning once a week if you don't have the color in your hair. I would say twice a week. If you have natural hair and you're deep conditioning once a week, I would do twice. If you have relaxed and color treated hair permanent, then I would do twice a week. Deep conditioning meaning getting under the dryer with conditioner, no co-washing, just deep cleaning and deep conditioning. Okay, at least twice a week. So the hair can go up about 60 degrees. So you have your dial turned on medium setting. So when you're under the dryer with the plastic cap and your protein and moisture conditioner, and then you are going to sit there and let that conditioner go into the hair, then you're going to reapply and do 10-minute intervals. So you're taking the plastic cap off, you put more conditioner on. You've heard me say this before. That's why I'm going through it quickly. And then you're going to continue to do that until you get your hair stops absorbing that conditioner. And usually it takes about 30 minutes. And you just got to do it, guys. If you want to wear both, just put a laptop in front of you, or do your nails, or watch a movie. I don't care what this hair, so you don't end up in a clinic like mine seeing my hair is shedding when it's just breaking because you haven't taken care of it. Okay, alrighty, now let's do this. Let's get to some questions, and then we're going to get to celebrity news. It said, I get my hair colored every 6 weeks. Well, that's the first thing that we want to try to correct. It said, but my white hair starts to come out in 2 weeks afterwards. Yeah, see, this is what we just talked about. How can I cover my white hair, oh, she says great, without getting my hair colored that often? And the brush-ons, I would absolutely say the brush-ons, you can email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com. It's something I sell to my patients, but it's something I could definitely send to you. We may even put that on our website. The brush on, it's called hair liner. I love it, and it brushes on. I actually use it myself. Let's go. Well, I thought we had a caller. If you have a caller and I accidentally cut you off, caller, you can call back at 901-535-9342. And then the next question we have is, if I wear and want to get my hair color, I have the darker shade of it. I have a darker shade of hair and would like to go to a lighter shade of hair, maybe blonde. Is it safe to wear them together? And again, if you do the things we talked about before, deep conditioning twice a week, making sure you prep the hair using your relaxer first, then your color afterwards, and that means your relaxer in 12 weeks, do your color. And then in actuality, you can actually do that. And let me correct that. You can do that color. You can do your color 40 hours to 7 days later, but when you redo it, you want to make sure. And thank you. I'm glad this came up so I can correct that. So when you redo it again, then you wait. So this is your regimen, just for clarity's sake. You will get your hair relaxed 48 to 7 days later, 48 hours to 7 days later, you color your hair. Then you wait 10 to 12 weeks. You relax your hair again. Then you wait 10 to 12 weeks. You color your hair, relax your hair again. And then 7 days to 48 hours to 7 days, you can relax. You can color it. So that's your regimen. And then deep conditioning twice a week. So if you got confused with that one, and this is really important question to you to answer for you, then email me and I'll make sure I clarify that. But I'm trying to make sure I don't run out of time before I can get to celebrity news. I'm a 34-year-old man. Oh, a question from a male. And I started to get gray hair along my temple. He said, I like the gray look. It looks distinguished. Oh, cool. Just not right now. A little early for the white hair or the gray hair. I don't plan to show my gray hair for a while. So I guess he said, what can I do to cover it up? Same with women. You're just going to have, I would do a vegetable rinse, something you can do every 4 weeks safely. And so that's what I would definitely do. I would. And then if it shows up in a couple of weeks, then you can use a little brush on. Let's go to our phone lines. Hi, and welcome to Ask the Hair Doctor. You have a question for me? Hey there. Well, thank you for asking. How are you today? You have a question for me? How do you protect your hair from the curling iron? From the sun. Is this Miss Anita? Hi there. How are you today, my favorite one? Good. I'm well, thank you. Listen, my daughter, oh, thank you so much. She was blessed to be asked to be at the DNC, so she did do a great. She was great. Great. Thank you for that. Oh, thank you so much, Anita. Thank you. Okay. Okay. You too, Anita. Thank you. See you next week. Okay, so Anita wanted to know, how do we protect our hair from the sun? And the way you protect your hair from the sun is the number one thing, you can cover it up. But if you're out and you're having a good time and you're wanting your hair free, then you want to make sure you're using conditioners, like leave-in conditioners. You want to use two things. One, you want to look at your leave-in liquid conditioner and you want to put that on. You want to be even distribution, ear to ear, front to back, making sure you're rubbing through the hair. And then you want to make sure that you use a moisturizer, because even though that it's sun, you want to make sure the hair is hydrated, because what happens when you're in the sun, the hair is going to basically, you're going to sweat, but it's going to dry out and your moisture levels are going to drop. So you want to really watch for that. So that's really the best way. And the other way is to completely cover it up. And because the sun is the sun, and it will lighten your hair. It lightens mine every year. Okay, cool. But it's not going to be a problem. The sun doesn't really, it can cause problems if you're not taking care of your hair anyway, but for the most part, it's just going to change the color. It's going to lower the moisture levels, but that can be easily fixed. Okay, so let's go to celebrity news. It's been 4 years since gymnast Gabby, that we just love, Gabby Douglas, had to deal with people criticizing her hair. You remember back in the 2012 London Olympics, and guess what? They're back at it again. Back in 2012, Douglas fired back at critics, saying, I just made history and people are focusing on my hair. Way to go, Gabby. That's right. It can it can be ball or short. It doesn't matter. Nothing is going to change. I'm going to wear my hair like this during beam and bar finals. Just might you might as well stop talking about it. And I think that's true because here's the deal. It's her hair. And she can decide what she wants to do with her hair. Yeah, I think that they need to have folks who are familiar with her hair help her. But at this point, she's a big girl. She can do her hair. And if she wants her hair to be in a ponytail, if she wants her hair to do whatever it's doing, fine. Then, think about it, ladies out there. People did the same thing with our natural hair. I mean, I remember back in the day, we went through this time where straight hair was a big deal. And if you didn't have straight hair or something, you were either radical or someone, one of these people who just didn't have kept hair. I remember walking into a restaurant and someone said, wow, hi, how are you doing? And they recognized who I was, and this was not too long ago. It's been about 5 or more years, and then I left out, and I said, I forgot something. I went back, and I overheard someone saying, and she teaches people about hair. And look at her hair. And because of my natural hair. So come on, people are going to talk about natural hair. So they're going to talk about her hair, whether she relaxed or whatever. We're not going to worry. Fortunately, the Twitter community has been really having none of that and quickly came to her defense this year. Here are a couple of the highlights. And one of them said, our community is being systematically oppressed and eliminated, and you want to come for Gabby Douglas hair? Shame on you. Do better. I think that was pretty cool. It says, folks, and then we talked about Gabby's hair. It says, she is flipping around. How is her hair supposed to be perfect? Yours ain't, and yours ain't doing that. Your hair is not perfect. This is true. This is true. This is very true. Okay, guys, I wanted to get that in because I just think Gabby is just awesome. And we're so blessed to have her. I mean, she is just doing it. Bless her heart. Against all odds, she is there. And I'm so incredibly proud of her. I'm proud of all of our the U.S. team is really just all of the teams there. Most of the teams, we're leading the way. Okay, pretty cool. We had one other question, and then we're going to talk about next week's topic because we got about a minute or two left. We had another question to come through, and let me make sure I haven't missed anybody on chat. Somebody's wonder who is the the topic today. Nixie wanted to know what. Okay, somebody had a question here. All right, it says, what deep condition would you recommend? This is important. I recommend that you look at your deep conditioners in 2 ways. Of course, I have one. It's made it a lot easier for everyone. I did make products many years ago, but because we have product companies who do all these various things to their products because it's their product, I didn't know the stability of a certain product or whether I could recommend it today and it would still be doing the same things tomorrow. So I made a product. This happened back in '87. And so you need 2 things in your product. You need your deep condition. You need to make sure there's protein, and then you need to make sure that there is moisture. There's delicate protein and moisture level within the hair shaft that must stay balanced. Protein to strengthen, moisture to hydrate. And so those things are crucial. So just keep that in mind. I have one called the Deep Conditioning. It's a protein and moisture stabilizing conditioner, and I highly recommend mine. And I can put a link there on, we can't get these links up until afterwards, so we'll remember to put that link up so you can get right to my website. That's the easiest way to do it, but that's what you want to look for. That's what you want to look for on your deep conditioning. Okay, guys? Oh, wow. It's been great show. There was one more. She says, my teenage daughter wants to get highlights. I know we have only a few minutes left, a second left, a minute left. My teenage daughter wants to get highlights. A lot of her friends have them, but I'm concerned about it being safe and her losing hair. Any suggestions? She's 15. Is it too young? No, it's not too young. But then here's the deal. Like I tell parents who want their daughters to have relaxed hair, if you're willing to do the work, then she's not too young. If you're not going to do the work and take care of her hair, she's too young. Keep in mind, these are adult things, and if you want your daughter to have an adult service like highlights or relaxers, then you've got to take care of her hair as an adult. Other than that, she's probably going to lose hair. I can tell you right away. You've got to put together a regimen, and you got to say, this is what we're going to do. This is what you're going to do to take care of your hair. You got to keep in mind, a lot of these teenagers are active, and they're in dance, they're in gymnastics, they're in the band, they're in all these things, and they don't take care of the hair. They like the look, but they don't take care of it. Okay, or your baby will end up in some added hair because she's lost all of her hair. All right, guys, it's been a great show. Next week, we're going to talk about hair products. That's a big deal for a lot of folks. I know y'all are dying to do that, but it's been a great show today. Thank you so much for all the callers. I love you so much. To God be the glory in Jesus. And of course, as you can see, I'm going to be doing my cyber reading. It's now on Thursdays. So I will see you on Thursday with cyber reading on Every Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, but I'll be right back here next week on WDI and iHeartRadio for Ask the Hair Doctor. Hi, guys. I love you. See you Thursday right here. We're going to do our Ask the Hair Doctor, where we're doing our cyber reading on Every Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair at any age. And we'll start chapter 1. So make sure, if you have not subscribed to your friends have not subscribed to my YouTube page, make sure you do, so that you can get an alert saying that we are on the air. So it's going to be 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, guys, see you next week. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.